Well, we spoke earlier with Kellen Lee, mental performance coach, about
a newcomer to the big leagues is interviewed about a milestone moment in his young career. A player receives input from a coach.
Oh, it's his first home run in the big leagues, and any guy will tell you it's a moment they never forget. Ken Griffey Jr. hit 630 of them over his Hall of Fame career. No big deal. He joins us now. Ken, what's his...
We know a variety of things can contribute to a player's success at any level of baseball. But what about channeling emotions?
A skipper appeals to his players to demonstrate some resilience in how they finish a rough season.
The phrase "well played, Mauer" from the advertising campaigns for MLB The Show has gone down in history with the fans of the game as one of the most beloved phrases associated with it. How often do you have people...
A rookie has a lot of expectations on them, and a lot of that comes from how they performed in the minors. You're Cliff Floyd. You know that. You know as well as anybody what you did in the minors. When you get to the show, it's meaningless.
Yeah, you can throw it in the trash. I'm telling you. It's just, you know what, you learn at the AAA level, but when you get to the big leagues, they're going to watch tape and exploit every weakness you have. And if you don't make the adjustment, nobody's going to feel sorry for you. I'll tell you that first and foremost. I had 4 homers my first year, and I thought, no way possible. But when you watch how pitchers pitch you consistently, it lets you know you made it, but you better make some adjustments.
An early winter check-in. New to the majors, this player's offered schooling on the structure of his contract. The agent moves on from that topic. A stripling major leaguer is challenged to make spring training count.
Cliff, what adjustments should a young hitter be making now that he's facing major league level pitching?
Well, yeah, the one thing you have to do is know your strengths. And once you know your strengths, you can adjust to anything else secondary-wise that these pitchers are going to exploit your weaknesses with.
Case, if I can, I want to follow up on one of the most exciting young players in the league. He's on a good run. What are you seeing lately?
Well, I think the biggest thing that I'm seeing is confidence. You know, this guy has developed the correct way, and he's up there, and he's playing at a high level. He's got big-time confidence.
This manager is looking to get more production out of his hitters.
He's been on a great run lately. There is no doubt about it. And he has created a lot of buzz as a possible rising star, both with the glove and the bat. Our former World Series MVP, Mike Lowell, joins us now. Mike, what are you seeing from him?
Well, I've been very impressed so far.
A player receives a check-in from one of his coaches.
All right, I admit it. All right, he's going to make it here. I mean, listen, he's not harming Killebrew, but he's going to make it. I'll give you that. I was wrong. I thought we were basically wasting our time. I agree. He's going to have a stint. He's going to have a career. He's going to help us win some.
This manager appeals to his hitters to be more discerning at the plate.
Jonathan Mayo, what is it about young players excelling that just captures the imagination?
I think because for most of us mere mortals, when
A player's agent calls to touch base. The player expresses interest in going elsewhere. A player receives input from a coach.
This is early in his career, and he's lighting it up. He's causing waves around the game. We're thrilled to be joined by Hall of Fame outfielder Ken Griffey Jr. Ken, you see him what we're seeing? Is he a star already, or are we getting ahead of ourselves? What do you think?
No.
A manager checks in with his ball club.
Hello and welcome. Thanks for joining us. MLB The Show with a good one coming at you. It's the Los Angeles Angels taking on the Baltimore Orioles. With my partner, Chris Singleton, I'm John Shambi. Pretty decent win streak on the line in this one, Chris.
This team has been doing all the little things right now. Being able to hit in situations and hit with runners in scoring position. When you look over the course of a long season, if you're going to be successful, it's doing the little things right.
Here's Mike Trout. Trout, second in the American League in hitting.
The center fielder, number 27.
On the ground to third. Tosses across to first, and that is that. So next to hit for Baltimore, number 2.
Batting third baseman, number 2.
And first offering is fouled off. And the right-hander deals. And ball 1.
That's where you want it. It's a good miss.
And the pitch. That one misses. And that's ball 2. Next offering is downstairs. Good plate appearance there. Able to take the walk.
Boog, if I were him, I'd be nibbling around the plate as well. I mean, this guy's just capable of hitting pitches outside of the zone and driving them a long way.
Canning checks the runner, and he's back in there. Number 2 leads off first with 2 down to the inning. Stay hot, eh? Runner, yes, the kick and the pitch. Runner goes. Bounce to the right. He handles it himself. That ends the inning. And now it's Hunter Bishop. Top of the third, no score.
The right fielder, Hunter Bishop.
Ground ball left side. And that one finds its way through. So they get a man aboard with a one-out single.
Well, that certainly feels good when you can win.
Now at the plate, number 2. That one is absolutely belted. That ball's carrying. Hauls it in on the warning track.
Now batting, the designated hitter.
Here's David Fletcher.
He's been such a good hitter with runners in scoring position. Some guys just take it to another level. For him right now at the plate, it's like everyone else is in slow motion and he's in full speed.
Bounce to third. And that one handled. Wide throw pulls him off the bag, and the inning still alive.
Maybe just a little lack of concentration on that throw. 2 out. You think you've got the play made. Guys are starting to move off the field towards the dugout, and then everyone's got to come back. Sometimes you take that throw for granted, and that's all it takes to keep.
Number 2, the next to hit for the Orioles. This guy makes great contact. One of the best in the game at putting bat on ball.
He's got such quick hands, and he's gaining pitch recognition. That keeps him square to the plate, and there's a good chance that his bat stays in the zone a long time, and that produces solid contact consistently.
Walsh makes the catch, and there's 2 down. Max Stassi comes up to hit. He's built his reputation as one of the top framers in the sport.
Hey, 2 down here.
Softly hit to third. Over to first. Inning over, and it could have been worse. We go to the bottom half. So digging in, number 2.
Number 2.
And now a bunt, but it's a foul ball.
Come on, let it fly right here.
Right-hander kick steals, puts a bunt down. Frazier on to first, in time. Got him, but they played the go-ahead run.
Well, the safety squeeze can be tough to defend, especially with a good runner at third. You can't risk trying to be overly aggressive and make a play at the plate and give up that easy out at first.
Hunter Bishop getting ready to hit.
Up next for the Angels, the right fielder.
The tying run at the plate. That's to third. One at second. Back to first, double play. And that's the ball game.
A little sigh of relief for the pitcher there, ending the ball game with a nice double play. You always love when you can get 2 for 1, especially when it wraps up the ball game. Nice win for these guys today.
And your final 4-2 for Chris Singleton and our entire crew. I'm John Shambi saying so long.
First for the victorious Orioles, 4 runs on 6 hits, 1 error. They left 14 men on base. For the Angels, 2 runs on 8 hits, no errors. They left 12 men on base. Time of the ball game, 2 hours and 45 minutes. Thank you for joining us here this afternoon. And we remind you to please drive home safely.
And you can hear clear that we moving out in the moonshine and lay out in the sun. This ain't Hollywood, this ain't a movie, ain't Golden Cup. We cutting up the whole system, so if you ain't with us, then you better earn it. We didn't breathe and we really don't care. We stop and kick off and come in the block. We didn't breathe.
My melanin glowing for the world to see. Your insecurity's not concerning me. I mean, God is a woman, that's my firm belief. And they wanna burn it down to the third degree. Grab a hold of the locks and insert the key. How many leaders does it take to be free? Don't wanna be jacked trying to get out the box. Should be stuck in there if you don't know how much it's all costs. Whoa, many layers is what's underneath. Look a little closer, I promise I'm more than you see. Please don't tell me you're different, I know I'm more than unique. Self-loving is all that I need. Never slow up, I don't know defeat. My heritage comes from royalty. That's crowns of gold and gold chains. More pain and nothing's changed. Still in chains. Which one of you politicians wanna be stepping in and up in a bad space? Step in my ring, you better know it's a sad day. I'm trying to dismiss us, I'll kick you out the place. Make them go missing, won't even leave a trace. Give me your best thing and I'll tell you that's a waste. I've been investing in my from day. Use the life, you say it ain't great. Go.
When they try to move in, we didn't breathe and we really don't care. We didn't breathe, we didn't breathe. We didn't breathe, it's in the air. We didn't breathe and we really don't care. You know what you must do, right? Just in the air, it's in the air.
A player receives an update from his representative.
Carlos, you once recommended to me that I stay away from negative terms like slumps, so I'm going to try to use what was your preferred term. When you hit an unfortunate period at the plate, what do you do to get yourself back on track?
A player receives a check-in from one of his coaches.
He's facing the team that originally drafted him for the very first time. Ken, you know what that's like. 11 years with Seattle. You go back. Are you trying to play a little bit harder and run a little bit faster?
You want to give the fans a good show.
Yeah.
I think that's...
A manager challenges his hitters to step up their game. A major league skipper acknowledges a young player who's been greatly exceeding expectations. An MLB franchise is wise to recognize the obvious. Young players.
Most rookies at the...
A player is confronted with a less than stellar stat.
It's one of the most intriguing times of the year for everyone around baseball, including the fans. It is the trade deadline. We bring in MLB Network analyst Ron Darling. Great to have you back, Ron. From a player's perspective,
This manager is looking to get more production out of his hitters. A player receives input from a coach.
Ken, we've seen how the fans are taking to this young star. What about the veteran players around him? I'm so curious. How do they react to a rising star in their midst? What's the vibe around him in the cage during batting practice?
Well, the vibe is that everybody wants to see this young man hit. I think that's the thing. Like, you know, you see the veterans, if they come out.
Hey, you don't get him right all the time. All right, we found Lou Gehrig. What can I tell you? Look at that. The guy's a heck of a player.
A skipper appeals to his players to demonstrate some resilience in how they finish a rough season.
Look, there are stars, and then there are superstars. And I'm talking with a man that falls in that latter category. Ken Griffey Jr. joins us now. Ken, what do you think?
Mike, we know it. Failure's a part of this great game. How do major leaguers deal with adversity when the times get tough?
Well, that's a great question. I think they go through it in a variety of different ways. I think some guys, for me personally, I went into the video room. I tried to really understand and see how I was feeling. Is there something I saw mechanically doing wrong? And then I had to put the work in, before the game. It's not just during the game. But I've also seen teammates go through some huge drastic measures, throwing away all their socks, new pants. I've even had a teammate that I remember changed his uniform number. So, the superstition does play a big factor in this. The key is for the mental stamina of that player. He's got to find a way to get out of that rut. And when he gets out of that rut, try to find a way to keep those good times going. It's bound to happen to every player to fall into this tough situation. And I think the main thing is you have to bank on your past success, whether it was a week ago, whether it was in the minor leagues, or whether it was in high school or college. You had success in order to get to this level, and I think you need to bank on that in order to get out of this slump that you might be in right now.
Mike, if you throw away all your socks and your pants, you got bigger problems than the slump. You know what I mean?
Spring training has come again, and major leaguers begin the process of readying themselves for the challenges of another long season.
I got options, the you do not know where I've been. France 7 a.m. I'm a fan of landed up in Japan for my body with more with a reason to leave. My inhibitions are breathing. I eat the and then I do my deepest. I'm about to run a mile on these. I'm chiropractic and the crack smiles on these. I'm 21 trying to make 9-10 million, 29 quid.
We're back at it with another season of the Road to the Show podcast. I'm your host, Ben Gelman. Today, we're focusing on the major...
Switch environment, I'm feeling uninspired. What's better precipitate than finding my soul in clarity? I'm burying my sins, a blessing is on my evidence. Ay, I'm a businessman without a business.
With the MLB draft already underway, a young prospect shares his expectations with a former coach.
I'm usually dramatic. I'm a raw dog life. I ain't doing no habits. I'm a star from the start. They be calling me Patrick and like a giant tarantula. I've been dealing with some whack. Thinking they can backstab, make it feel the pain like I'm in.
Carlos, you lived that in your baseball career. What's this world like?
Oh, it's extremely exciting. You know that if you perform, you will get the call.
We've got a developing story here. JP, what are you hearing?
I'm checking the numbers, I'm talking to my sources, my scouts, and they're all telling me, hey, this could actually work.
Most of us mere mortals, when we were that age, we were barely chewing gum and walking at the same time. Hardest game there is.
Let's see if he's pumping up mentally here to adapt. That's what good players do.
That dream of getting the big leagues is now becoming reality with that one phone call.
What? Are you kidding? He's not a major league player. We wasted a draft pick, a high one at that. Here, this is why we don't win. This is a terrible, terrible pick. Oh, my goodness gracious. Come on, fellas. Do your work. Do some research. Awful, awful selection. I hate this pick.
To me, standing here by myself, photograph with no correction for me or anybody else. I could dream 1,000 dreams, nothing could measure up to being out here just needing nothing, living on no one else. I feel the night creeping, but we ain't sleeping.
A Double-A hitting coach touches base with a new arrival to the team.
In the professional ranks, players have to develop not just on the field, but in the weight room as well. Minor league manager Rachel Balkovec joined.
A player new to his Double-A squad.
For so many prospects, they come in and they have areas of their game that need significant work.
Jeez, he gets a couple of hits in a minor league game and you guys got him out to be the next Joe DiMaggio. I mean, please, please, please. What's some success against some freckle-faced high schooler?
Joe, during a season, you're going to see your fair share of struggles at the plate at some point or another. How do you work yourself out? We hear all the time from people around the game that AA is where you really start to see breaking balls that are a cut above what you've seen before.
A player receives a check-in from one of his